So having an experience from the previous project dealing with social corporate responsibility, we are glad that we were being involved in this project ROSIE because in our country or in general in the countries after socialism, innovation and or this topic innovation is a big focus not only because of EU priority but because of lack of interest or having a problem with surviving in this market economy, and that's why we are really glad to work on ROSIE project on the topic dealing with ROSIE project because responsible innovation is something we have been not thinking about.
How did you promote the concept of responsible innovation in Košice region?
The first activity where the project ROSIE and the concept of responsible innovation was introduced to local stakeholders in the Košice region was during the first regional public event in May 2018. The event was called With Responsible Innovation to Success on the Market, and very fruitful part of the event was a panel discussion. The guests of the discussion presented 3 different views on responsible innovation from the position of representatives of non-profit organization, small business and large corporation. The panelists discussed, for example, what are the real benefits of interconnecting sectors, what awaits companies in the near future that choose to ignore responsible innovation, how to overcome the various barriers we may face in implementing responsible innovation. And here are some interesting parts of the panel discussion.
No a potom sa to dobre sprocesuje a naozaj sa to premyslí po každej stránke, tak vznikne asi nejaká zodpovedná inovácia. No a tých nie až tak veľa, ja som z okolností trošku teda tak nejak študoval pred touto diskusiou nejaké také štatistiky a bol som sám prekvapený, keď som teda narazil na jednu štatistiku, že neviem presne, že z akého stroja to bolo, ale teda ten pomer tých pokusov o nejaké inovácie, ktoré naozaj sa stanú proste akože úspešnými a zodpovednými je obrovský. Tam bolo, že z nejakých 3000 pokusov len 14 naplní ten status tej zodpovednej inovácie, takže naozaj to asi nie je úplne, že jednoduchá záležitosť a teda sa tým do budúcna bude treba zaoberať, aby teda tie inovácie priniesli to, čo teda priniesť majú. Tak v zásade ja si myslím, že naozaj to sieťovanie, ktoré tu už bolo asi viackrát spomínané, je z môjho pohľadu kľúčové a to naozaj, či teda sa jedná o verejný sektor, alebo súkromný sektor, alebo teda umelcov, alebo tretí sektor, tak ak tieto zložky nebudú fungovať na plné obrátky a medzi sebou komunikovať, tak veľmi ťažko teda sa budú tie zmeny prijímať alebo navodzovať. A v tomto smere si myslím, že máme sa stále kam posúvať a to je naozaj také že kľúčové vo vzťahu k tým inováciám zodpovedným.
Skutočne ten synergický efekt tých existujúcich inovácií niekedy môže priniesť viac a častokrát aj prináša v kratšom čase, ako je vyvíjanie niečo úplne od nuly, čisto akože na vlastné triko.
As revealed by panel discussion, the topic of responsible innovation is quite new in Slovakia. But some of the companies do apply one or more of its elements. The information and advices shared among panelists and audience were very useful. And after panel discussion, offer for SME participation in the capacity building training was launched. Participants were informed about possibilities to take part in the online training and got detailed information what they can receive when they apply for this training. And also printed leaflet promoting offer for SME participation in the capacity building training was distributed during the event with the slogan "Join the Responsible Club." And information about the possibility to participate in the training was published also on our webpage.
How did you prepare capacity building training for SMEs?
Capacity building training was developed in September 2018, and the training was delivered to SMEs online. The online training was free and open to all interested parties, including large enterprises, public administration, research centers, and also civil society representatives. The structure and the content of the informative online training was elaborated by the project team members and also internal experts. There were used materials which were elaborated within ROSIE consortium, like description of RI tools, STEER methodology, UniPDR, living labs, with their infographics which were translated into Slovak language. Then ROSIE self-assessment tool with explanation and RI implementation plan. Also, there were used materials and videos produced by our team. During the national targeted event, a panel discussion was recorded, and later several short videos covered the different topics were produced and used as a training material to introduce RI topic. The structure and the content of the online training. There is introduction to ROSIE project and also introduction to online training. The second part, there is introduction to responsible innovation, so understanding of the concept, why do we need responsible innovation, process dimensions, and also 6 policy keys, thematic topics, ethics, gender equality, governance, open access, public engagement, and science education. The next part is about the barriers and benefits. The very important part of the online training is how to implement responsible innovation. And there you can find ROSIE toolbox with tools like UniPDR, STEER methodology, and living labs. And also the part where you can find template for implementation plan, which includes objectives, actions, actors, and resources, planning for improvement of responsible innovation. The next part, there is a ROSIE self-assessment tool, where participating SMEs were invited to fill in an initial self-assessment of their current approach to responsible innovation goals. And the last part, there you can find inspiring practices, so case studies of responsible innovation.
What is the main objective of responsible innovation roadmap?
The fusion of responsible innovation in business sector requires the development of specific strategies and actions in individual companies, but also the creation of policy environment which stimulates RI in companies. The objective of this roadmap is to access the current capabilities of companies that are willing to implement responsible innovation, and for matching them with the policies and programs which regional decision makers presently plan.
What means innovation? For today it's really buzzwords, and we know that this is made us tired of hearing about it. But what is so important that we really need it? And what to say in other words? It's something like main ideas, new process, new product, and of course this is something that at the end gives us some added value. Slovakia represents for some events important part in the world, especially in metallurgical sector. Really deep roots of metallurgical engineering was made by decision of Emperor Maria Theresa 1762, when given by a letter established first mining and metallurgical academy in the world. Today in Košice city, Technical University is continuator of this academy. Another important point in history is in 1786 is the first World Academic Scientific Congress, which was held in Sklené Teplice. And this congress was attended by notable intellectuals, for example, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. And this is clear underline why Slovakia belongs to the important country in the Central Europe. The first and again important sector for Košice region is metallurgical sector, thanks to high numbers of revenue and employees. Second important sector is transport. Transport plays an important role in today's economy and society and has a large impact on ground and employment. This is thanks to two important political platforms. First belongs to China, and we know this name is the Belt and Road Initiative, and Košice is something like the open door for Europe. And second one is Three Seas Initiative, is a flexible political platform, also known as the Baltic, Adriatic and Black Sea Initiative. And this given to Košice city positions such as crossroad for business trips. Main industrial sectors will be structuralized towards the higher value-added production. And because we know that 20 years ago Slovakia starts to be a mecca for automotive producers, more also sub-suppliers companies starts to play important role in our region. And thanks to new conditions and new requirements, more of sub-suppliers companies operating in automotive or an electrotechnical industry needs to reflecting the global trends. Last but not least is IT sector. IT sector represents sectors glue one upon another, and of course also shows for us important role. Main goal for Košice region is to grow economically and has developed innovative ecosystem and to be open cooperation in research, development and innovation to fulfill all requirements done by companies. The main vision is to achieve prosperity of Košice region by merge internal innovation ecosystem, which for today represent a main problem, and we need to share mainly with a broad society how to manage the responsible innovation and spread this information within our region.
What is the main reason why Košice region became associated partner of ROSIE project?
Košice region is really happy to be a partner for a ROSIE project. The main reason why Košice region started thinking to be part of ROSIE is increased knowledge about responsible innovation. Thanks to some regional events and activities, we have got information and skills how to manage and implement AI in our companies. What was analytical background in road mapping process?
Firstly, we're mapping current situation in the area of responsible innovation in Košice region. We began with self-assessment tool, which was aiming at identifying which RI goals and elements matter to specific organizations. Answers came mostly from various companies working in the fields of business, tourism, services, construction, industry and so, but also from regional policymakers. Based on the answers, we can say that in managing innovation process, open access and engagement of stakeholders are rarely used, but gender equality and ethics often play important roles. After that, we were trying to evaluate regional RI maturity. We used indicators like motivation for engaging with RI, responsiveness, open access or anticipation, which allow to identify the responsible innovation positioning of firms and regional policies. Depending on the assessment, we can say that neither firms nor regional policies are sufficiently active. The strategy should be to develop regional policies for RI to fill the gaps, and start target engagement communication initiatives to raise firms' awareness on the matter.
Do you have some examples of RI implementation of mentioned in roadmap?
Well, what can be also interesting for regional stakeholders that are developing or managing innovation, and for actors supporting those who are dealing with the innovation process, are lessons from the regional pilot actions, like creation of new product with high engagement of public, or setting a code of ethics. In the roadmap, there are some lessons from project study visits. Like example of multi-stakeholder approach can be seen in Slovenia, where the Tourism and Hospitality Chamber and the Ministry of Economic Development and Technology developed a comprehensive plan for the years 2017 to 20 to relaunch tourism.
Which priorities our action plan focus on?
Well, the last part of roadmap is focused on action plan. The action plan was created in cooperation with innovation experts from regional government. Focus of action plan is aimed at 4 priorities. The first is promoting responsible innovative entrepreneurship in core and perspective sectors. The second is excellence in research. The third is commercialization of research and innovation. And the fourth is quality human resources to increase the region's innovative and technological performance. Example of action is creation of technological platform which will enable better communication and cooperation of actors in the area of technology and technological responsible innovation.
Also, it is good to notice that Košice region wants to implement the roadmap from ROSIE project directly to the new research and innovation strategy for smart specialization of the Košice region in the period 2021 up to 2027.